Hello students, myself Srikanto Sen. Now I'm going to teach you cyber security. The paper code is BCA N501. It starts with the basics and the fundamentals of data and communication. We'll start with data. What is data? Data refers to the raw facts that are collected while information is processed data. Now think of this 201220. What is the meaning of this? It is meaningless. It may be somebody's salary, it may be somebody's account number, it may be somebody's balance in the bank. You cannot get a clear idea about what is the meaning of 201220. But if I process it like 20/12/20, so it becomes date. So this is the raw data and this one represents the processed data and it is called information. Data communication is the process of exchanging data or information between two devices over a transmission media. Now, how these devices communicate? There are three ways basically: simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. In simplex, it is one-way communication. In half duplex, it is two-way communication, but not simultaneously. You can think of the walkie-talkie that you can see in the police, the way police communicates in the road. Full duplex is basically a two-way communication and it is possible simultaneously, like when somebody makes a phone call. I am showing you a picture of this one-way communication. You can see the arrow in one side from terminal A to terminal B. Think of the radio. You can listen to radio but you cannot transmit any kind of messages through radio. Next one is this one is two-way communication but not at the same time. So this is called half duplex. The last one is the full duplex. You can see two-way communication and simultaneously it is possible. Now we'll start with networking. A computer network is defined as the interconnection of two or more computers such that they can share resources and information. We can see the picture of network computers. You can see there are two desktop, one laptop, a printer, a server is connected to modem. There is a switch, there is a wireless router, and lots of wireless devices are nearby the wireless router. So what is the meaning of this? The meaning is that this all networking devices like a laptop, two desktop, another laptop is here, mobile phone, all are connected either through wire or wirelessly to this printer. So any document can be printed through the printer. That means they are connected and they are sharing a single resource, that is the printer. Now a simple question. Okay, which of this picture you will prefer? The first one is that every desktop computer has a printer attached, whereas in this picture you will find that there are four computers, all are sharing a single resource, that is a printer. Definitely I'll go for the next one, this one. So this is the basic concept of sharing of resources. Next one is categories of LAN. You have studied this in the fourth semester. Local area network, wide area network, metropolitan area network. Local area network is basically the college lab where all the computers in the college lab are connected. You can think that is the example of local area network. Wide area network is basically a more geographically spreaded area or large area compared to LAN, and metropolitan area network is a concept of network communication, that is where the size is between LAN and WAN. Okay, you can see the picture of LAN, WAN and MAN. There are two more network pictures are available, that is PAN, personal area network, and CAN is campus area network. Campus area network means in your college lab you will find lots of buildings are there and lots of labs are there. If there is a network available to connect those labs and the devices, that is called the campus area network. PAN is basically personal area network, where you just install a Wi-Fi router in your home, and in that router all the mobile phones are connected, printers are connected, and you can connect anything. It's like Google Home, you can connect. That is a personal area network that you can set easily. Next is analog data and digital data. Analog data refers to the information that is continuous, like I am recording some lectures here with a human voice, that is analog data. And digital data refers to the information that has discrete states. Now you can think of the Sophia, the first humanoid robot that can talk like human. If you heard the videos of, if you listen to the sound of Sophia, you will find that there is a discrete state in the voice. That means a machine is talking. It is clearly understandable that a machine is talking, though the AI is being used nowadays, so that you find that Sophia is talking more like a human. But the concept is, it is a machine. Now this one is analog data and this one is a digital data. Analog data means you can find the cassette player. I think most of you have never seen this. The cassette player where data is stored in the magnetic tape. And digital data means you can think of the CD. If you play these two devices, you will find that the music from the CD or the DVD is far superior than the data stored in the magnetic tape. Because in magnetic tape the data stored in the form of analog signal, whereas in CD or a DVD, data stored in the form of digital data. These are called 1 0 1 0 1 0. So spike, these are spikes. Okay, next one is categories of transmission media. It is basically of two types: wired media and wireless media. So wired media means it is guided, and wireless media is, think of you are using a cell phone and there is no connection from your cell phone to the nearest telephone exchange. You can think of the TV remote. You can think of the AC that you use in home. All are wireless. Now what is wired media? Now think of electricity. Cannot find electricity is moving wirelessly. It moves through a wire. Or you can think of the old age cable network that was connecting TV to a cable server, where data moves in the form of coaxial cable. Here comes three pictures: twisted pair, coaxial cable and fiber optic. Fiber optic is the most superior and data moves in the most fastest way in this fiber optic cable. Next one is inter-networking devices used on a network. The first one is network interface card. Network interface card is a small device that is connected to your computer that helps your computer to connect to the internet. Next one is hub. What is the purpose of hub? Hub basically helps to amplifying the signal and then retransmitting it. Next is a bridge. What is the purpose of bridge? Bridge is basically used to connect to similar kinds of network. Okay, next one is switch. Switches are used in the option to bridges. Switches enable each workstation to transmit information over the network independent of other workstation. It is like a modern phone line. You can see switches in your college lab. You can find lots of ports are there, and almost all the computers are connected to that port available in the switch. Now router is basically a device that decides how the data will move in which direction. It is basically a traffic police. It decides if there is a congestion in one way, how the data will move from source to sender in the different way. The last one is a modem. Everybody knows modem. Modem is basically a device that converts digital signal into analog signal and analog signal into a digital signal. Okay, now I am showing you a picture that clearly describes the functionality of almost all the devices. You can see This is a LAN in the sales department. This is another LAN in the accounts department. In the sales department, you can find two desktops, one printer, server, switch or hub. In the right section, in the accounts department, you can see almost similar things in the accounts department. So how these are connected to switch? You can find all the printer, server, clients, that means the desktop, are connected to the switch. Right side, the same case. Now this switch are connected through a router, and the router then connect these computers in both the LAN to the internet. So this is the way, this is the basic configuration of nodes, switch, routers, and how these devices are connected to internet through a router. Here comes few more notes on internetworking devices, but I am showing you the picture of hub here. You can see lots of ports are there in the hub, and small identification with the blue line. You can see this defines that the desktop computers are connected to the ports. Now hub is basically a broadcasting device, whereas switch is basically a unicast device. You have studied this in the last semester. Now comes to bridge. Now what is a bridge? Now think of, in the left side there is a network. Suppose the name is X.25. In the right side there is another network that is also X.25. If you want to connect these two similar kinds of network, I am repeating this, two similar kinds of network, X.25 and X.25, then you need the requirement of a bridge. Bridge is nothing but a device that connects two similar types of network. This is a picture of a Wi-Fi router, and this is a picture of a gateway, the red color. Why this is a gateway? Because internet use a different kind of network, whereas your college lab is using another kind of network. So gateway is basically connecting to different kinds of network, where bridge connects to similar kinds of network. Okay, let's start with bus topology. Bus topology looks very simple, and these green dots represents the computers. All are connected through a single line. Now star topology. In star topology you will find that the same thing, the green dots, this represents the computers or the nodes, and there is a central computer. You can see there is a central computer. That is the purpose of star topology, and this central computer is called the hub. Almost all the computers that is a part of star topology should connect to the central computer. Now the advantage is that it takes less wires, but if the central computer is not working, then the entire star topology halts. Okay, next one is ring topology. In ring topology, you find that all the computers are connected to the neighboring computers. It forms like a chain or a ring. So this is the funda of ring topology. In ring topology, it is again simple to design, but if any one of the ring, any one of the node in the ring is not working, then the entire ring is not working. Okay, next one is tree topology. Tree topology are comprised of multiple star topology on a bus. I am using lots of terms here. Multiple star topology on a bus. Tree topology integrate multiple star topologies together onto a bus. We have studied this in the fourth semester. So tree topology look like this. The next one is mesh topology. In mesh topology, what happens? You will find that almost all the computers are connected directly, and you can see it is comprised of maximum number of maximum volume of wires. So that's why it is called a mesh topology. Now the advantage of this topology is that any one of the node is suppose is not working, then the working principle of the topology is not hampered. Correct? Okay, next comes to hybrid topology. When I say hybrid topology is basically connection of multiple topology. Now you can take one tree topology and another say mesh topology, and if you connect these two topology, then it is called a hybrid topology. Hybrid topology means connection of two or more different topologies to create a networking environment. Here comes the picture of the all networking topology together. You can get an idea that how the topology look like. Okay, next we'll start with OSI model. What is the purpose of OSI model? Initially, when there is a need to communicate with different computers in different locations, the problem was different computers in different locations are using different kinds of operating system, different kinds of network topology, different kinds of network. So, how a computer with say network X.21 will communicate with X.25? So there is no common layer or common platform so that these two can communicate. So this concept of open system interconnection was developed. It was developed to allow systems with different platforms to communicate with each other. It addresses hardware, software and data transmission. Now there are 7 layers in the model. Each layer has specific functions. It is responsible for all layers work together in the correct order to move data around a network, and I am showing it to you. So there are 7 layers: layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. The layer is the physical layer or the access to media layer. Next one is data link layer, local network host delivery. Next one is network layer or routing to destination. Fourth one is transport layer, that is delivery and sequencing. What is the meaning of sequencing? When data moves from source to destination, the data moves in the form of packet. So when you send some data from source to destination, it moves in the packet. And it may happen that the last packet reaches first and the first packet reaches at the end. So there should be a layer that should sequence it into 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the purpose of this transport layer. Next one is session layer. It establishes a connection, secure connection. You'll find that this kind of session is available with your Facebook, your Gmail account. Presentation layer, it is basically used for encrypting and formatting, and layer 7 is for data generation. Now each layer has some specific protocol. The protocols that you need to study in the upcoming lectures, and it is also in your syllabus. I'm just mentioning the protocols available in this slide. Say in layer 7 we will find HTTP, FTP, DNS, SNMP, Telnet. In 6 SSL, TLS, transport layer, TCP and UDP. So these are some protocols that we will study elaborately in the upcoming slides, but I'm just mentioning, just try to remember which layer is dealing with which kind of protocol. Now what is a protocol? Protocol is basically some predefined rules that is used by this layer. Correct. HTTP is say hypertext transfer protocol. SSL means say secured socket layer. Say next one is say TCP, transmission control protocol. ARP, PPP, Ethernet. So these are some protocols used in the OSI model, and which layer of the OSI model is dealing which kind of protocol is given in this slide. Okay. Next one is how data is referred to the OSI model. So when I send some data from source to destination, it becomes a data. But how data is addressed by the OSI model? In the physical layer, it is called as bits. In the data link layer, it is called a frame. In the network layer, it is called packet. In the transport layer, it is called segment. And in application layer, presentation layer, session layer, together it is called data. Correct? Okay, you need to study another model or protocol suite that is called the TCP/IP protocol suite. It exists even before the OSI model was developed. It consists of two protocols, TCP protocol and Internet protocol. TCP is transmission control protocol and IP is Internet protocol. Now, It has originally 4 layers from bottom to top: network interface layer, internet layer, transport layer, and application layer. Okay, this part shows the mapping of OSI reference model to TCP/IP model. Just now I told you that TCP/IP model exists before the OSI model. OSI model came later, but before that there was a TCP/IP model. So it says that this network interface model and these two layers, red color does the same thing. Now internet layer in TCP/IP model and network layer in in OSI model perform the same kind of operation. Now transport layer in TCP/IP and transport layer in OSI model perform the same kind of thing. An application layer, that is the last layer, 1, 2, 3 and 4, the application layer task is similar to the task of these three OSI layers altogether. Now whatever I just said is written here. Your task is to pause the screen and write it. In fact, you have studied this in the 4th semester. This is extremely easy. This is easy and known to you, so that is not going to create any problem. Just go through it and just refer to your last semester class notes. You will find that this is you can recall. Now few slides back I had showed you what are the protocols available in the 7 layers of the OSI model. In this slide I am going to show you some protocol that is available in the TCP/IP suites. Now there are layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 and layer 4, and all the protocols that is available in these layers are described in this picture. So in previous slide it was the protocols are divided into 7 layers. In this picture I have divided these protocols into 4 layers. The task is similar, but here it is 4 layers. In the last slide it was about 7 layers. Okay, I'll start with application layer protocol. So there is one protocol called HTTP. HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. FTP is File Transfer Protocol. SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Telnet is a remote connecting protocol. That means you are sitting somewhere and try to connect to a computer in the distant location. You need the help of Telnet. Next one is domain name system, that is used to reserve the host name to IP address. Suppose when you type www.rediff.com, it leaves your computer and goes to a DNS server. The DNS server says that www.rediff.com means IP address 25.35.65.20. Now that information come back to your computer and the actual computer that hosted the rediff.com is identified. So DNS is basically domain name system. It is used to reserve the host name. SNMP is Simple Network Management Protocol. It is used between a network management console and the networking devices to collect and exchange network management information. Okay, next one is Transport Layer Protocol, that is TCP and UDP. TCP is reliable, connection oriented protocol, and UDP is unreliable. Now TCP means, now think of, you send a WhatsApp message to my mobile number. It is reliable. How? If I check that SMS or the WhatsApp message, you will find that there are 2 blue ticks. That means I have received and I have checked your WhatsApp message. But when you send the SMS to me, there is no clue whether I have read this or I have received this or not. So you can think sending a message in WhatsApp is TCP, whereas sending a message in UDP is sending a message in SMS in the form of SMS is called UDP. Next one is IP, Internet Protocol, ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, IGMP, Internet Group Management Protocol, that you need to read, RARP, Reverse Address Resolution Protocol. And the last one is network interface. It is also called network access layer. It is responsible for placing the TCP/IP packets on the network medium and receiving TCP/IP packets of the network medium. TCP/IP was designed to be independent of the network address method, frame format, and medium. In this way, TCP/IP can be used to connect different network types. And this includes LAN technologies such as Ethernet, token ring, and the WAN technologies such as X.25 and frame relay. Independence from any specific network technology gives TCP/IP the ability to be adapted to new technologies such as asynchronous transfer mode. Okay, so what we learned in today's class? We learned how many layers are there in OSI model, how many layers are there in the TCP/IP model, which one is reliable. Next one is what are the protocols available in the different different OSI model or TCP/IP model layer. Network topologies and the different networking devices like switches, hub, router, NIC, and the purpose of networking, that is how to connect. What is the purpose of connecting networking devices? The concept is for sharing resources. Thank you for listening to it. Thank you.